Hello, I'm John Adams, editor of Digital Photo, and in this Photoshop Made Easy video lesson, we're going to look at how we can increase saturation in a really clever way. There are lots of times when we take a picture that the colours don't come through as brightly and as vividly as we imagine them at the time of capture. To create this slightly washed out appearance, all it needs is the light to be at slightly the wrong angle or the wrong direction, or a bit of flare or directional light hitting the lens itself to wash out contrast. It can be any number of things that reduces saturation in a picture, but you can end up with results like this, which are a bit bland. So how do we go about pepping them up so we get a more vivid and a more punchy result? Well, if we just go straight to the Hue Saturation palette, and we'll do that by hitting Ctrl and U on the keyboard, we bring up HueSat, we just crank up saturation, right? Well, not really, because if you overdo it, you can easily go too far and you can block out colours. Blocking out means you're losing the detail within the colour. And once you do that, the picture will start to look really artificial and really nasty. So what we need to do is find a way of increasing saturation without causing colours to block out. And here's how it's done. We'll just cancel that HueSat palette. What we need to do is find our Layers palette. So to do that, just go to Window and choose Layers. Now I'm just going to take the layers out of the dock, so I'll just click on it and drag it onto the picture itself. There we go. Now we can close down the dock and just have our Layers palette on its own. What we're going to do is copy this layer, and you can do it by dragging it over the Create a New Layer icon, or there's a really quick way you can do it. Just hit Ctrl and J on the keyboard, and you'll get a new Layer 1, which is a carbon copy of the contents of the background layer. Now this layer, we're going to blur the content. So we go up to Filter, choose Blur, and then choose Gaussian Blur, just halfway down the list there. Choose that, and then go for an amount of around about 5 pixels. We'll just go for a radius of 5 pixels in Gaussian Blur, click OK, and the image will go all kind of soft. If we just zoom in, you can see there that everything's gone a bit unusable. It looks like a bad dose of camera shake. But what we're going to do now is use a special blending mode in the Layers palette. So pop back to the Layers palette, click where it says Normal, and then right down at the bottom of the list you'll see a blending mode called Color. Click on that and look at that, all the details restored. The blurred effects actually disappeared altogether because this color blending mode just allows the colors in the image to show through to the one beneath. So now we can use the colors in the blurred layer to increase saturation without breaking up the detail from the layer beneath. So we hit Ctrl and U, and we can now crank up the saturation much more than we could before. There we go, let's see how far we can push it. 65, something like that. We'll try 65 and click OK. Now let's have a look at the picture. And there we don't have any colours blocking out. If we zoom in tight, we can see that nothing is actually getting broken up. No detail is being removed. That looks pretty good. We've got nice pure colours and no breakup. So that's a great way, using a blurred layer and the color blending mode, you can actually increase saturation much more than you can by simply applying a saturation increase to the same layer. Hope you find that useful. Give it a try with your pictures. If you've got any pictures that are a bit bland and a bit dull and you want to pep up the saturation, try that technique because it can work wonders. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.